Patreon.com/the Walk Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there. ChatGPT, very weird.
Mm.
AI. This is not like a baseball related topic. So if you are just here for the baseball BS, you can tune out now. Leave a like on your way by. ChatGPT, I think, is so cool. I know you're like annoyed by it as a screenwriter yourself. It's for obvious reasons a threat to your industry. Although I think as it stands right now, it's the potential of it is a bigger threat than what it actually is. But who knows
Yeah.
how far away it's going to be. As a
Feels like
stand-up comedian, Scott and I are both worried of like just hacks with good energy going on and being like, write me a joke about dog food and my kid's homework, and it combines it, and all of a sudden that's a really funny joke, and they're just performing stuff from ChatGPT. So I'm also threatened by this. Okay. It's very cool. I know you sent me the link for MidJourney for images, right?
Mhm.
Man, have I had a lot of fun with that and playing with the different prompts and trying to see how much. Oh, that's a whole skill set to itself. Just being able to like, uh,
Speak to the AI.
when I was a grade schooler, we had a computer lab. That was a thing, right? Because you didn't have your own computer, you didn't have your own iPad at the desk. You had a room with computers and like dot matrix printers and stuff. And I remember so clearly my teacher in grade 5 explaining to us the concept of garbage in, garbage out,
Mm.
right? Like with a computer, like a computer is just a tool. And whatever, like if you put bad directions into it, it's going to give you bad directions back, right? Kind of same thing with a calculator or anything. And I feel like that is, oh man, is it ever exaggerated to the nth degree with where AI is right now? Like
Mhm.
garbage in, garbage out. But man, if you can fine hone that skill set to throw in like a good prompt, or use the keywords that make a difference, right? And there's some cool YouTube videos trying to like educate people, but everybody's kind of like making it up as they go. So it's kind of an interesting frontier of let's call it art, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that term loosely.
Yeah. Very loosely.
I sent you a new one that I just found. 11 Labs. So this is a voice AI.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so that's the clips that I sent you this morning, asking for the angles you wanted to take on the Boba Fett news. So there's an app called, I think it's called Voice AI on the iPhone. I signed up for it. Open beta doesn't start until the end of the month. But from what I've seen, the concept of this is you upload a you upload a like 10-second clip of someone talking, right? You, me, Scott Belford, Danny DeVito, whoever the case may be. Like a 10-second clip of them just talking that you've pulled from a podcast or a scene from a movie or whatever. You wait like 10 seconds and now you have your own like voice, like an automated voice. So now you type in your text and it's Danny DeVito saying whatever you want to say. So, and it's so impressive. Like the clips that I've seen on YouTube from people who have done this, it is like pretty wild what you're able to get, Joe Biden or Donald Trump or who, like Dan, whatever, to just say stuff, right? Just the oh man, I don't think we're a ways away from. Okay, I want to be careful with how I say this. I think there is I don't want to put a timetable on it, but a path to a future in which, rather than me having Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and all these apps, I just have a AI bot and I can go, make me a buddy cop movie with Kevin Hart and Danny DeVito and make it a crime related to illegal baseball bats. And then I wait like 15 minutes. I go cook lunch. And when I come back, there's a 90-minute film where ChatGPT has written the full script. And then these like
I
ElevenLabs or these voice apps have
yeah.
got like everybody's cast, and it's literally Kevin Hart's voice, anyways, and Danny DeVito's voice, and they're voicing the script, and then there's also like a visual. Again, I don't know how far away we are from like these deep fakes, and what MidJourney is able to do on a like image basis and the speed at which it's able to do it is mind blowing. But it's probably going to be a while before it can also do like complex videos and scenes to go along with it. But am I crazy to think that that's a far off reality at some point? Is that
Some
possible?
some people are already combining the AIs to do exactly what you're saying. So there is a still image animator AI that will take a still image, animate it. There's the voice one that you said. There's an editor. There's a obviously MidJourney, but like ChatGPT for your text and your writing. I've seen people on TikTok literally combine them all, create a movie like 2-3 minutes long, characters speaking to you off AI driven script.
This is
It's edited by
nuts.
AI. And it's like, the exponential curve of technology, it's a technological growth curve is exponential. We're getting to the point where it's not going like we were here for a while.
Yeah.
Now we're in this part, right?
Yeah.
The growth
The
curve has gotten to a
asymptote
part where
for
it's
sure.
directly upwards, right?
It's
And
insane.
the changes that are happening at this point and that will happen monthly from this point on are terrifying, especially for creatives or anybody who can see that their vocation is going to be taken over by somebody who doesn't need any money to do it
Well,
and can
look at
work
BuzzFeed.
24/7.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you saw what happened with BuzzFeed, right? They do those like listicle articles, like, top 10 ways to slim down for this summer or whatever, right? And they just laid off like 25,000 writers. And we're like, no, we're just going to do ChatGPT to do this instead. Like,
there's
it's
there's going to
wild.
be you know how you're like you go to the grocers and there's like a stamp of like food approval. This has been stamped as a healthy
Okay.
you're going to get like companies that are like AI exclusive or AI like no AI at all, right? Like we
Right.
are a
It'll
no
be the
AI
new
company.
non GMO,
Yeah, right.
right?
And it'll
These are
be
the
a stamp
organic
of
bananas. This is the
we hire
non AI.
humans only, right?
Oh,
And
I like
it's
that.
a split between
Yeah.
human only companies that we want human beings to make money and economy is made for them, and companies that don't care and trying to make a split down, and those companies will fall apart because the other ones will be a million times more efficient and people
Yeah,
always choose efficiency.
it's true.
So
It's true. It'll be weird though. Like you said, it'll be weird when we get to a point where Danny DeVito is doing an advertisement for a movie, and he's like, "I'm Danny DeVito, and I actually acted in this movie," and that'll just be the pitch, right? But then that will also probably, even if he did act in the movie, him doing that promo is probably AI generated. We're not going
yeah,
to pay him
we're
his
gonna
one
get
day to show up and film the promo, so we'll just get AI to say, "Yeah, this is really me." The
we're going to
irony.
watch you're going to go watch Indiana Jones probably this year, right? You're going to see the new Indiana Jones
Of
movie,
course, of course.
right? You're looking at a good chunk of that movie being a computer generated Harrison Ford in the
Yeah.
past, right? Like a young Harrison Ford is going to be running around. So
Right,
we're going to
right.
get to the point where actors don't die. They
Mhm.
just are recreated in an AI form where their voice is identical, their mannerisms are perfectly matched. And
Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, even without the advancements in AI at the consumer level, like look at Princess Leia there a couple
yeah, yeah,
years ago, right, where she died in Carrie Fisher, right?
yeah. And they kept her
Uh,
going.
and they kept her going, because she passed in the middle of filming. They were still able to create scenes that she was zero part of, but fill it in.
Create scenes.
You know what I mean? Paul Walker too in the Fast and the
Hmm.
Furious franchise there, right? They were able to, I think it was his brother that
Yeah.
was the stand-in, and then they face mapped his face and stuff. Um it's gonna be a weird. Ooh, a weird future. Do you think there's any sort of legislative or like
Mhm.
union coalitions that can come in to prevent some of this? Because like what copyright liabilities would there be to being like to prevent me from, I know you and I have, talked about and are working on a baseball comedy, whatever. But for us to just like, what would be stopping us at this point from being like, okay, we've got a script, it's all punched up. Now let's cast Danny DeVito as the bat catcher and just get like these AI bots to create scenes and use his voice. And he's just like, and every, let's just film the movie. Like, what's preventing us from doing that and then not paying
That's
Danny DeVito? Like,
to
how does
me,
that get
to
prevented?
see, like some people are going to do it. I don't think that the art form truly rises through. I think there's something to be said about art through adversity, struggling to get your art made,
Hmm.
like the
I
pain of the
agree. The
process.
the restrictions of George Lucas on the early Star Wars films, or
Jaws as well, right?
yeah,
Spielberg not getting the shark to work, right?
right.
The movie's better because the shark didn't work and you had to hide it, like the adversity that comes through the process of art. And I feel like you're going to see a lot of people.
Jurassic Park. That was the other one I was thinking of. Spielberg. Sorry.
Yeah, Jurassic Park there's a good line in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum says to the guys who've designed the dinosaurs, "You stood on the backs of brilliant people, but you never dealt with the struggles, and you didn't you did what you did, but you didn't ask if you should do it, right?" And that's kind of this situation of like you're you're sitting there creating an AI app that is literally going to make you know 1 billion people irrelevant for the rest of time. It's
Yeah.
it's a wild thing. But at the same time, I feel like true artists who collaborate, and that adversity that they go through to create something is as important as the creation itself. You find so much about yourself. You find so much about the project that you're working on, especially when it comes to writing and creating characters. I don't feel like Chat GPT knows what it's like to live a human life and to have a girlfriend leave you or a loved one to die, and for you to have those emotional connections are still a long ways away. For it to live those things out and understand the meaning behind all of that. So I feel like we still have the edge when it comes to that. And yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of AI art that just doesn't have any heart to it because it's so
Well put.
easily acquired. And I still feel like the cream will rise to the top in most situations. But for a positive element, the way I see it is like everything that you said. Say you have a movie idea, right?
Yeah.
Movie producers don't want to read the script. They never have. They never want to sit down for the
Right.
amount of time that it takes to get through 120 pages. But now what you can do is you can take your script, get the greatest actors in the world, voice it over, create a pitch that is now
Let's
more movie
storybook
than
it
it
for a
is.
presentation.
Yeah. And then you
Gotcha.
show that and you go, that'd be a great movie.
This
Let's
is
go
the
make that movie.
potential. Imagine Danny DeVito in this role, right?
Like you
Look how
said,
fun
it's
this could be. Yeah.
computer is a tool, bad in, bad out,
Hmm.
right? But you can use these types of things to improve filmmaking, to get your vision in front of producers and other people to, as opposed to them having to close their eyes and imagine what you imagine. Now you
Right.
can give them the imagery, you can give them the sound, you can give them the tone.
Hmm.
So that might be a tool for just the idea of pitching and getting ideas out there.
Well, that's an optimistic way to look at it, and I like that angle. Um, I look at what like websites like YouTube have done for, well, I mean, for me ultimately, but also in a much more exaggerated scale. Independent artists, musicians, TikTok as well. Just the way technology has allowed a little bit of the the barrier to entry, right? Whether that is through gatekeepers who are physical people, or whether it's just through the cost, um, right? With computer software being what it is, you can edit your own sound and your own music and be your own producer and whatever. So I like the optimism there that, maybe instead of this just being the downfall of movies and entertainment, maybe this is the movie industry's YouTube circa 2008, right? Where this is the opportunity for, a artist with a vision but no access, living in rural Manitoba or whatever, who has an internet connection. I don't know how. They're in Manitoba. I don't know how that happened. Maybe that was a bad example. Let's pick
Hamster
a
on a spinning wheel to get that video.
yeah. Um, but they sorry, shots at Manitoba. Um, but maybe there's an opportunity there for someone to, create art, have a vision for, whether it's a very compelling story or entertaining or hilarious or thought out, or a complex story about time travel that I might be super interested in because I love time travel movies. And if you have any good ones, let me know.
I do.
Um, I've probably seen them all, but I'm curious about your list, and we'll talk that
Oh,
after.
I wrote one.
Oh, why haven't I seen it yet?
It's not out
Well, you
yet.
need to get on some AI service and
Yeah,
storyboard it for me, okay?
that's
I
right.
I want Danny DeVito in the lead role.
Done.
Okay, um,
It's
that's
called
my only
World of
request.
Danny's, and everybody's Danny.
Oh my god, it's amazing. Um, okay, I'm way off the rails here, which is probably a good time for us to wrap it up. But I like that idea that there is an opportunity here to get your art out, or at least present it to
I've had
people who then can fund it to be produced in a proper way. And like you said, it's sometimes maybe you've got a great storytelling brain, but not a great presentation brain, right? Or you don't have the connections or whatever, and you can't. I just think there's a lot of people who, I mean, kudos to you being a big Hollywood producer living in Edmonton.
the
Uh,
biggest.
that's a testament to your enthusiasm for the art and your drive as an artist. But a lot of people, even up until the last handful of years, it was like, if you want to be a writer or an actor or whatever, it's like sell everything you got, move to LA, and then hope beyond hope that you win the lottery, right? And just think
Yeah.
of all the people who are like, maybe could have been great actors or great special effects people or great writers who are just like, yeah, but I can't move to LA. And now that maybe they don't have to. So I think that's some positivity there. Um, how did you make your how did you make it as a screenwriter from Edmonton? Can you just tell me that story? Is that a
Yeah.
thing? I'm very
I
interested. We've never talked about this before. It's the
I
mystery
made
of Joel.
I made a short film in 2008, in 24 hours. It was a 24-hour, well, it was a month-long competition for Sundance.
Okay.
Okay. We found out about it with like 36 hours to go. Right.
Nice.
So a bunch of my friends ran out in the middle of December, and we shot, pretty much, we pretty much took risky business and turned it into a 5-minute movie. We just ripped it off.
Why does your origin story, of course, include Tom Cruise?
It has
Why
to, right?
why
That's
if I had to guess anything, of course it's Tom Cruise. Okay, my origin story would involve Danny DeVito, but I digress. Let's
we,
okay.
we can do another copy of Twins, I guess, with Tom Cruise and Danny
Oh,
DeVito.
now we're talking. Hey, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So Sundance, risky
yeah,
business.
I made this short film. It went, to Sundance in 2008. This is actually a nice story. It played there. It was a runner up in a short film festival competition. It was only eligible for Americans though. Canadians couldn't submit. So what we did was we sent it to some friends of ours in Boston, who then submitted from Boston.
Nice.
And we pretended like we were from Boston in the movie. So we were talking like, hey, don't worry about it. And we just got these accents. And we're all, and I, weirdly enough, I'll send it to you. I'm the
I
main
can't wait.
character.
Okay.
And so it plays at Sundance, as a, because it's 5 minutes. It's like a trailer for the show, the actual movie that they were going to play that night. And the movie that they played was something called Angels in Manhattan, which was a story about the AIDS in New York, and it had Meryl Streep in it and
Okay.
Al Pacino in it, and they were there. They were there watching their movie be premiered, and our little short film from Edmonton started the whole night. And then when it was all said and done, Meryl Streep walks up to me and says, "I know how cold Boston is in the winter." And
She fell for it.
I go, "Oh, we're not from. I'm not from Boston." And I start talking the way that I talk, and she goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "Wait, did I just act to Meryl Streep? Did you just believe my acting?"
I love it.
And so, like, that's 2008. That still has to be the highlight of like anything that I've like. Don't get me wrong. I've got stuff going. I got my series with Netflix. I've I've got stuff in the pipeline, but for a I'm pretty sure that was the galvanizing moment that made me do it. I wasn't gonna leave it at that point.
That's
I,
very
I
cool.
convinced I convinced Meryl Streep that I was from somewhere else. So that's that's
I'm
pretty much the
impressed.
inception moment.
I'm impressed. You know, it's funny because do you watch The Last of Us?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
great show.
So I don't want any spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it. Um, there was some fervor on the Twitter sphere about this I think it was episode 3 where they were like 20 miles west of Boston or
Mm.
whatever. But then it was like the mountains of Canmore is where it was filmed. And then there was all this like
Shocking.
outrage from people who were like, I'm from Boston and this scene like breaks my heart right now because that is not what it looks like here. And you were the original fake Boston,
Yes,
2008. So
absolutely.
there you go.
Turned Edmonton into fake Boston. Yeah. I'll send it to you.
All right, I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it. Very cool. Well, thanks for yeah, getting off the rails and talking some non-baseball stuff with me, Joel. And for
Anytime.
anybody who listened, I don't know how many did. Uh, drop a comment or send a DM or whatever, and let us know if you liked us going off the rails and getting a little personal with stuff. So okay, we'll wrap there. Congratulations to Boba Fett on his job security. Let's call it.
Mhm.
Okay, and
His raise.
his raise, yeah. And congratulations to the Blue Jays for avoiding 3 years of ugly arguments, at least. Okay, we'll wrap it up. We'll see you again next Wednesday, Joel. And for everybody else, don't forget, hop on the Patreon if you haven't, and get your votes in for this month's trivia night. I know Joel's voting for Moneyball as many times as he can. So,
Mhm.
okay, we'll catch you later, Joel. I appreciate you. Have a great night.